Hello, everyone. This is Ninja DC, joining again for the first podcast of the year. Just to give a quick update, I decided to take a break from the last second recording for December, mostly because lots of stuff were going on, and also Christmas because I had a convention to go to. There was Christmas things, and two of us were getting married in this group, so we were busy. So I gave us all time off.
Fair. To each other, though, so don't be like, hey, wait, who was the other one?
I guess going in with introductions, going first up is, let me see, well, Carlos, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello there. This is Gun Metal Gator here. Just letting you know, there's times in life in which you gotta take losses with pride. And other times in which you gotta take some losses and go nuts and insane and just completely rip and tear the entire world apart.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. This is gonna be very relevant to the discussion for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then next up, to random Skype order, Jenn.
I may be late. I may be first, I may be last, I may be coming down with a cold, and I may be stuck in 2022, but I am first and always Jenn. Hello, everybody, and Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
What are you talking about? Colds don't exist anymore. It's all COVID.
Yeah.
Don't freak me out like that. It's a cold.
Boy,
Really?
It's a cold.
It
yeah.
is.
none of them help right now.
I went through the
Yeah.
proper channels. I got properly tested. I'm boosted.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just reporting like basically all the news things. Like it's like if you have a headache, you have COVID now. If you have a scratchy throat, you have COVID now. It's like if you breathe, you have COVID, or you will get COVID soon.
If you stand on your head, you have COVID. If you dance the boogie woogie on the corner of the street, you have COVID.
Let's try that.
Oy.
Hey, people in the comments. Well, let's start a little game right now. Blank. If you blank, you have COVID.
If you blank, you have
We're just so knee deep in this.
This is
By
the
now,
brand new.
especially.
This is the brand new. You might be a redneck of this generation.
Yeah. Oy.
But the one bright side I say with the going to what convention I went to is I actually before all this Omicron broke out, I stocked up on some N95 masks, so I still have that stockpile to work with.
Me and Sagan need our boosters soon.
I got mine already. And one of my friends finally got his first one. Took him a while, but he did it.
Well, it's more than I can say for some people.
Yeah, but there are some who actually. But the crazy is there's some that have like some have actually legit reasons and such for not not taking it. But I can understand a few of these reasons. A few of them.
Yeah. Like religious reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
If you have like bad heart or lungs, it's probably not a good idea either.
If you have an allergic reaction to ingredients on them, by all means don't. Just be responsible, darn it.
Maybe you could ask if you could get the one without certain ingredients in.
Don't think that's how it works. But let's avoid the amateur advice because that didn't work out so well for the last guy who tried it.
Yeah,
no. I'm actually curious now if I post this on YouTube, it'll get the little COVID warning at the bottom.
all because we said the fated C word. Oh no.
All right, let's take bets about what happens or not. But I guess moving on to the last to be introduced, Second and Day.
Hello, everybody.
Hey there, Second Day here.
Hey.
From a critic first and a fan second. Let me just say, being married to your brand new wife is wonderful. I can't stop kissing her, and vice versa.
No.
Yay. Get a room, you kids.
No.
I told you I have the hotel key right here.
Well, we were in the hotel.
We did just get back from our honeymoon to New York.
New York. You want to wake up in the city that never sleeps. I was New York.
That was amazing.
It was really great, actually.
Awesome.
It was like, that's a happening city.
Yeah. Definitely
Truth.
will recommend the Statue of Liberty if you're ever going. That needs
did
to
you
be
ever-
on. That needs to be on the list. Statue
Yes.
of Liberty is number one.
You need a
Did you
tour
ever-
guide who knows what he's talking about, though.
Yes.
Did you ever see like Times Square? Did you get to go to Times Square?
Yes, Times Square, you are not ready for Times Square if you haven't been in anything comparable before. That is a judge. I mean, I'm not even like a, small town country boy or something like that. I mean, I'm in Pittsburgh. It's not the smallest city. It's far from the least happening city. But yeah, like, the part of it was I didn't realize I was going to Times Square. That, we just finished our Broadway showing, in which we'll talk more about that in a minute. But yeah, walking down Broadway Avenue, and I'm, knowing it's somewhere near here, and then, I look up and it's Times Square, and I'm like, well, I feel very small right now.
Times Square is like, I remember passing by Times Square and I'm like, and just like taking all of New York in. I'm like, dude, this isn't Cincinnati.
Yeah.
It's legitimately quite the establishment. Like wide open streets, yet it can feel so narrow for like the newcomer.
Right.
With
And
so
the
many
building-
people crowding the streets.
And the building's so high they literally block out the freaking sun.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
like,
incidentally-
driving into the city, like the sun's in my face. Once I get into the building, I'm like, where'd the sun go? Where'd it go? Why is it so dark? Oh my god! Wait a minute, the buildings.
So,
they block out the freaking sun.
It is
Oh my
bright as
God.
day in the middle of the night in Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually do want to mention, like, there actually are some similar, like, buildings in Cincinnati because, classic New York. I think it's a Chrysler building, and one is similar to one in Cincinnati, which is made by the same architect.
Mhm.
You can sort of see it. Not the Chrysler building, I forget which one.
Yeah.
And then also I know the train station at
Grand Central.
Grand Central has the same architect that did the Union Terminal in Cincinnati, which is now the museum.
Or as some nerds know it, the Hall of Justice.
Ooh, nice.
Yep.
I actually work next to that building.
Cool.
Props.
Yeah.
But it was all dwarfed, of course, by seeing the one, the only Gunmetal Gator in person.
You guys got to meet, yay!
Yeah. It took 5 years, but finally, like Riff mods meet one another. After like the wedding day. After the wedding day for like the other one.
Was about time.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and one thing to note, second is definitely tall.
Yep.
I am.
Like you're basically like close to 6 feet, but probably like a 5'11" or 10.
Yeah.
Yes, that is exactly what I measure at. I must have a very towering presence.
Yeah, well, like, you did wear shoes. Did you know, Gator, that I'm actually taller than second?
Really?
No way.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I thought we were pretty close.
I am
So did
taller
I.
a little
I guess
bit.
it's just all the pictures I see on Facebook.
Yeah, we're cute.
Hi, what can I say? Hi.
All right.
So that's right,
But,
people.
I guess-
Respect your second opinion.
Because before he towers like a building amongst mere mortals.
Blocking out the sun.
It's the shadow I cast. But okay, I guess for the what we've been up to story, we have a big one. We went to New York and lived up the New York experience for our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And we actually did some media relevant things to talk about.
Yay.
Like saw Phantom of the Opera on Broadway. Back.
The Phantom of the Opera. Sorry.
Yeah, Phantom, that's... I mean, we were a little far back, like, for the full view of the stage, but I mean, it was something to see. It was, like, actually, kind of a funny story. They had one of the, I guess, long-standing actresses who played Christine, who won an award for it, back. And they also had a Broadway debutante playing Carlotta, someone who had never acted on Broadway before. And, yeah. I keep saying, I'm like, is it just me or does Carlotta have stronger pipes than Christine in this version?
That is not an optical illusion. Carlotta is, I've seen it live myself, but it was on Cincinnati, and every time I see it, I'm like, I'm black. If it came down to like pipe strength and range, jeez, it's Carlotta's a beast compared to Christine.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is a new Carlotta too, but must be a recurring thing. They find Carlottas that can really belt.
Yeah, but
Good
that's the plan though.
The control that Carlotta has, the control that the actresses who play Carlotta have to have, and I mean, seeing up in that registry is hard enough, but then having to do like scales in that registry and to make it like staccato and to make it like just like punch just exactly right like that. Whew.
Okay, and Day's theory is that Christine is supposed to have it's not just the power of her voice, she's supposed to have, I guess, a finer voice, which
finer attunement, yeah.
If so, that didn't come through for me this time around, but props for finding a keeper with this Carlotta show, but and I think the highlight of the show is when the fandom first takes Christine underground. Like, they're going for sexy, and I do think they pull it off. Like, the vividness of the dialogue about I couldn't even do it justice calling it back off the top of my head. Just like this, like, all this descriptiveness of art as, like, this, force to give yourself into and allow to consume your being, and, like, this, just basically the Phantom describing this existence where Christine is going to fold her arms in and plunge backwards into the pool, where her life is now entirely kicking ass in opera and just constantly reaching and unlocking these new heights, and also being in love with suave, sexy suit and mask guy. I mean, they killed it there. And then, of course, she pulls off the mask and runs as fast as she can back to what's-his-name, who is... I know. Who the show explains she is in love with because he saved her scarf, and they have a cute scene talking about that time where he saved her scarf, and then something. Like, I'll give them credit. This Raoul, I mean, I don't know if it is just he's like a little underrated, or if the actor managed to get something out of him. Like, he does manage to give off a sense of just like masculinity and of having a level head on his shoulders. But like, I guess if that's accurate, if that's usually what you get, I would argue the problem is less that he's just like a sweet little blandy bland, and more that there's just not enough of him. Like, what is a Raoul, and why does Christine love one? Like, there's just, he's very, for a main character, he doesn't seem to have much to do.
Yeah.
He's like he's the safe option for Christine, and it's the it's just the classic good boy versus bad boy kind of thing. Although in the novel is completely different. I mean, the Phantom is like really supposed to be like real ugly, and I feel like movies and theater, they don't play that enough. They don't play it up enough.
Well, it depends on the movie. Yeah, I mean, the theater show, to be credited, he looked when she tears off the mask, and I think they have this trick where like he's wearing something over his hair that gets pulled off too. When the mask comes off. So like his hair gets a little messed up, and it just magically isn't as greased back and slick as it was a second ago. But
I've seen that.
But either way, this Phantom definitely looked uglier than he did in the Schumacher version. He had like holes in his face almost, like open sores and stuff. And I mean, it was that. But we came back and we watched the Lon Chaney silent movie for comparison. And I mean, Lon Chaney was the master of hideous makeup. Like, when his mask comes off, like, he is just like a balding skeleton face almost.
Yep.
And what I love about his version, though, is when Christine pulls the mask off, like, at first he jumps back in shame, and I mean, he doesn't try to cover his face, but he's in the corner, like, pointing his finger, like, you couldn't listen, but then he just, like, and, like, the shame and rage, he, eventually gives in and goes for it for a minute. He starts, like, laughing maniacally, and he grabs her face and pulls it up against his own. He's like, this is what you wanted to see. Feast your eyes.
Ooh.
Glut your soul. I love that line. Glut your soul on my accursed ugliness. Like,
yes, drama.
Yeah, so, like, this fan, like, in the, stage Phantom, Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom, the hesitancy starts when Christine pulls off the mask.
Right.
In original version and Lon Chaney version, it starts when her Angel of Music is, some guy in a not so sexy mask who's like, no, come underground with me. I'm still your Angel of Music. And pulling off the mask is just what cements it.
Pretty much. But so glad you guys get to see it live. It's epic, isn't it?
Yeah, no, and also I try not to spoil a lot of things for a second because I've seen it once before. So there's a lot of times where it's like where I would look away because I knew that was going to be bright lights or and we like in the intermission. Not a lot of people know this, but it's 10 minutes. Like he says it like a little time before. He said like, oh, there was a pause on 10 minutes, so you know that it's going to be 10 minutes for your break, your intermission break.
Yeah, but I mean, no, the pyrotechnics were awesome.
Yes.
Like the first shot where they're in the future, it's decades in the future, and they're selling the chandelier at an auction, and the guy says, "Why don't we go back?" And then pop, this flash just like explodes on, and it's blinding enough to make you blink a few times. But I mean, like that.
I looked away.
That just had me like watching the nice little show, drumming my nice little fingers to, whoa, this got started.
Oh yeah, so I love the way it begins. It's always I love it when they said like first we should have some illumination, gentlemen, and then boom, it starts. I love it.
Yeah. No,
I love that start.
That's how you start the show.
It also got second with the fireballs and the lights that came like from behind us and moved around us.
No, that didn't get. That just was just a recording played a bunch of times. But I mean
Gator.
The flames popping from the floor. Those suckers were bright. I wasn't even surprised by those. I just had to kind of look away. I was like, man.
Wow. How did they do the chandelier like falling down? How did they do that?
It sort of fell down and in. Yeah. It was like it just like it was
wires.
It as it came down, and granted, like the balcony obscured our view of it at the very top, but as it came down, it was clearly coordinated to land on the stage. So like being seated a little far back under the balcony, that might have cut into that particular experience for us.
Like they secured it with wires, so it cannot fall. No matter what, even if the two main wires get cut up there, somebody gets a fit and cut those two, right? It will still be pulled in to the main stage. But just if you sit on the two front seats, don't stand up. Like you're being told you cannot stand up, or else you will get a chandelier in your face. Like that happened. That happened in the first play that I saw with it, because like somebody were like, I guess like second being a little bored with like it all, and then wanted to go out, and then it was like, and then we start, and then it opens the chandelier moving up, and right as he stands up, and the chandelier just came and hit him in his face. But he was warned. He was warned when he like.
What was this?
It was some random guy that have the front row seats. He was warned that he wasn't supposed to stand up. I remember.
Maybe that's why they had made it on the way down so much.
Yes. Well, on the way down, it's even more insane.
Yeah, so. Okay, explains that. They had it at the Majestic Theater, and it might have been a little comparatively small. Like, I don't remember thinking, okay, what a wide stage. I remember, like, oh, this is Phantom on Broadway, huh? But, I mean, yeah, that wasn't, like, detrimental or anything like that.
I think the stage was appropriate size, but definitely the one in London is bigger. But it's also one of the biggest theaters in the world. So, yeah.
But I will criticize the songs a little bit. They do drone on, and they don't
it's
build on the well. Yeah, okay, that's your explanation. That explains nothing, but
okay.
Yeah, like lyrically, it's not exactly like, I don't know, enhancing what's happening, or it's not like, or some of them anyway, it doesn't feel like they're expressing or explaining a particular emotion the characters are having. It feels like okay, well, let's go off and be poetic for a second. Like, I mean, the one where he's like leading her underground and the music is playing, the phantom music is playing as he's rowing his boat through the candles everywhere, and then he like, sing for me, and she belting it out as best she can. I mean, like, that song is doing what it's supposed to do, but I mean,
darn right.
It's like, yeah, I'm like, okay, this is not the tightest writing I've ever seen that we're just gonna go off and do this song for a while.
Yeah.
But I will say it's some of the most epic singing. I feel like any female singer who wants to like cut their teeth, I feel like if they really want to like get some like heights and everything, I feel like if they do Phantom, that is like boot camp. That's like boot camp for your voice. That really will separate.
It's so hard to sing.
It is very hard. It is so hard to sing, especially, and I'm now convinced. I don't know. If you want the hardest roles to sing, Carlotta and Christine. Only reason because Christine is because she's the main gal. Carlotta because of the notes she has to hit.
Sure.
The thing is, like, Christine only has to hit Carlotta has to hit like multiple like notes, like high notes, and then do them in succession, and then in a scale kind of format. She has to do that in, like, I think probably 1, 2, 3, maybe about 1, 2 songs or something. And then Christine only has that one song at that one note at the end of Phantom of the Opera. That's it.
Well, she also has this song in the cemetery, Christine's song.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's I compare that to, like, the ending note that she has to hit.
That's true.
In Phantom of the Opera, I'm like, but like Carlotta does that more than once. Christine only does that one time, but at the same time, Christine has more songs. She has more songs than Carlotta.
Yeah.
But either way, if you want to like really if you want to turn your see what kind of metal that your vocal cords are made out of, try singing Phantom of the Opera songs.
Yeah, jeez.
I actually oh my gosh, I actually did that at a karaoke thing once. Somebody decided to sing Phantom of the Opera, and then at the end of it, somebody put the mic in my face and made me sing the high note.
Oh wow.
Ooh, how did that go?
It actually went surprisingly well.
Oh, props to you. Big props.
It actually went surprisingly well, but I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
I looked at the person. I was like, "Don't you dare do that again! I need to prep for that crap."
Yeah. Oi. Yeah. Last Phantom thing, I guess the comparison. Just a little shout out. One last shout out to the Lon Chaney movie, if nobody minds a spoiler, where they changed the ending. Because
that was weird.
Yeah, the book ends pretty much like the musical does, but the Lon Chaney movie, they decided that, she kisses him and his heart is melted by the first act of willful kindness he's ever been given. They decided that was too low key, so first, an angry mob led by the brother of some guy who was killed happens to find the Phantom's lair at last and storms it. And so we get trying to kidnap Christine in a carriage. We get her deciding that the only thing that makes sense is to jump for it out of the speeding carriage. We get Phantom, so reluctant to lose his gal that he stops the speeding carriage and tips it over. And then somehow the speeding carriage has not gained that much ground on the angry mob, so he just tries to bolt for it. And then they corner him at a canal, but he has one last trick up his sleeve. He holds up his hand to throw his last weapon at them. They come at him from the other side. He holds up his hand again, and then he opens his hand and it's absolutely nothing. He's like, yeah, you guys are idiots. You can kill me now.
What?
Yeah. I was as surprised as you because I thought it was going to be a fireball or
some kind of
bomb or something. But no, there's nothing. Also, the way that he has Raoul and the other guy trapped down there is a lot different than...
Oh, yeah, they have him Raoul and the Persian, who's actually just a cop in this version. They have him go through his, several layers of death instead of they still do the noose, but he never actually gets it around Raoul's neck. He just forces Christine to promise to marry him to stop subjecting them to the rooms of death. They get through one on their own, but then they're pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
All right. But I guess before we move on, normally I would say I would have us say what we've been up to before we move on to the news, but I think I'll do the news first since I have a feeling we're going to be doing a lot of updates. The main news story that's
cut away from the updates.
Yeah. The only really main news story I think that's up to our discussion is that there's a whole bunch of minor ones, but main one is this movie called Spiderman came out and was slightly successful in the box office, being the first movie since the pandemic to break $1 billion.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I think I might have heard of that. It's called No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
I
don't know.
It's quite an interesting.
Who still watches Spider-Man movies these days? Am I right?
I mean, it gives me, vibes of, a certain other movie that came out recently in the last 5 years. Something verse. I don't know.
Changing the subject.
Okay.
Holy heck, Spider-Man No Way Home that checked everybody's wish list with flair.
I'm just seeing so many reactions of joy when a certain scene comes up.
Yeah. Everybody who's seen it knows which one you mean.
Mm-hmm.
And normally scenes of chaos are fun with me. But this is happy. But this is pure, unadulterated joy that I keep seeing. I'm like, you know what? There's no carnage or anything. There's no carnage or anything in this, but there's just pure, unadulterated joy, and I'm here for it.
And a healthy dose of sorrow towards the end.
From what I've heard, yes. It's like give them their happiness before you pull the rug out from under them.
Honestly, no, I have not seen the movie yet, so
Oh no.
Okay.
I have not seen it. But let's just say I know in general what they were going to do before even getting spoiled and just being like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. Just stuff like that.
Sure.
But just to avoid spoilers and go over this since Carlos hasn't seen it yet, and theoretically someone else listening to this podcast hasn't either. I will say in a non-spoilery way, the chemistry between certain characters is better than the Avengers chemistry, and I will die on that opinion.
Okie dokie.
I don't know. It depends. Well, I guess I'll go the other way and say, in general, that this is not the best Spider-Man movie, and probably not even in my personal top 3.
Okay.
Because, like, this to me was like watching an anthology movie, just all the, great wish list stuff it gave to us and woven into the story, and, like, fan service done right, as in it's a story first that happens to be made of things that also check fan service boxes, but yeah, just checking all of them. Like I said, it's like an anthology movie. I love anthology movies. They're like, getting a Christmas gift that happens to be several gifts in one. Like, even if, one of them isn't so great, that's almost part of the fun, is like comparing them and then right on to the next one. I love to, compare them, love to pick out which ones are my favorites. I love to, unpack the different styles, watching them, looking forward to what's next, telling people about which ones I liked, swapping notes and stuff. But an anthology movie almost never ends up as one of my favorite movies, because at the end of the day, I think the very best movies, or at least so far to me, have always been the ones that managed to deliver a more cohesive punch from nose to tail of the runtime. It seems like that approach does, often enable the very greatest movies to push themselves over the top. And the Spider-Man franchise has, in fact, made a couple of my favorite movies. I think I like Spider-Verse better, Spider-Man 2 better. I also really liked Homecoming. I think I like that better. And then, in the fight for 4th place, I think No Way Home versus Spider-Man 1 from all the way back in 2002 is the fight.
The Tobey Maguire one?
Honestly, like...
Yeah. I think that
honestly,
one's underrated these days. I think it's suffering from, what is that, post-buyer's regret. Like, oh, well, that was just the intro one that did intro things. We're supposed to not like that and think that can be improved upon, but I think it's underrated, but I'm starting to lean towards No Way Home as I think about it over the weeks.
But actually, my opinion isn't really too far off. I won't say that No Way Home is like all out of my top 3 Spider-Man films, but I would say it's not the top. My top would probably be Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse is a like animated masterpiece. It's one of the few films I would say with that.
Yeah.
And then probably second, third place would be, I'm not really sure on which day I'll decide, but probably Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2. And then Into the Spider-Verse might like be right in that same sort of spot.
You mean No Way Home?
Yeah. I mean Spider-Man 3, the newer ones, No Way Home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I think mine, like No Way Home, is like 3rd on my lists.
3rd on your list behind what?
Spider-Man 1. And what is that, Spider-Verse?
Yeah. I was like, everyone it brings in, I can't say there was any of them that weren't good. Like, I was real into how they continued all of these arcs, and in some ways it's almost, jaw-dropping that they would come up with a starting point that good for so many of them. It left me wanting a little more from pretty much everyone. I know they have to split it among all of them, but I was like, it just had me like, oh, like, that was so cool seeing this one. Couldn't they have just like spent a little more time, or couldn't they have pushed over the top with his story about such and such? Like, I'll do an example with one that everybody knew was going to be in the movie, like Green Goblin. They explore his duality a little more this time, and everybody is saying like, okay, we retroactively missed that William Dafoe has once again has one of the greatest villain performances. But like, they explore his duality a little more. They do not do very much with the fact that Norman Osborn was not a very good person in the first place. Like, he is played as the flawed but good side, I guess. And I mean, I don't know. I was looking for the moment where he would kind of have to confront that he did this to himself, or that he, even without the Goblin, messed up his life a little bit, and it really never comes.
Ah.
I think it was sort of like a Gollum-ish situation where essentially not necessarily good to start with, but like the side that's still good basically realized its mistake, even though it was basically suppressed, sort of thing. It's complicated. But I do sort of want to move on because I know we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, this is a true statement.
Let me see. I was going to bring up one more thing. Oh yeah. Fun fact that I just almost forgot, which I didn't really realize it until after finishing No Way Home. I think it is sort of funny and ironic that like the next like superhero film that Sam Raimi is going to direct is essentially going to be a Spider-Man spinoff.
Oh wow.
Which one is it?
The next Doctor Strange film.
Okay.
I did hear they were putting him in charge of that. I didn't know that actually stuck.
Yeah, no, like he is, and like I didn't realize how much they tied in, but yeah, you could argue that is a Spider-Man spin-off film, and yeah, I love that irony.
That's cool. Now, if this is the news story segment, I guess may as well put it in this category. Something over on the TV side, something pretty huge came out. We got Cobra Kai season 4.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's so amazing. As a child of the 80s, it's so rare and wonderful to see something as iconic as the Karate Kid. And then at first you hear like a remake, I'm like, oh no, you're gonna mess it up. But then you're like, whoa, they updated it, and it's kind of true. It's kind of true to it. The spirit is still there, and along with an updated story and such.
Yeah,
and not just an updated one, but a really interesting updated one.
So true. I mean, and these actors, Ralph Macchio being the closest exception, really haven't been allowed to do that much, like, since the 80s. And I mean, I was like, so yeah, this is possible last hurrah in their twilight years. I mean, I was just that and like, yeah, Legacy of the Karate Kid. I was crossing my fingers so hard, just like, give us something half decent. And instead it was, season 1, for example, was Rotten Tomatoes' best rated TV show of the entire year. And I'm like,
yeah, how about them apples?
Yeah. Holy mackerel. Yeah, this crew really loves the Karate Kid, and rightly so.
And crazy thing is, it's even more it's even like transcendent too. It's something that you can actually get the newer generation into, and it can also be like, and that can also force them to kind of go back, not force them, I should say. It could also be like start the image. Darn it, now that's not it. To kind of like stoke the fires of curiosity, like, okay, let's see the original Karate Kid and then see where that came from. The only thing is, I just wish, Pat Morita, Mr. Miyagi was still with us and such. That's
so true.
That's the only thing that could have made it perfect. But I can understand. But such cruel fate.
Weirdly, he is still one of the strongest parts about the show. Like his what his lingering influence on Daniel is. I mean, like the episode, or at very, very least the moment where like that first time Daniel goes to his grave and like, just opens up and confesses that he's not too happy with himself after he's sunk to a couple of things. That is like strong contender for best episode of the show. This moment of the franchise.
It's true.
Absolutely. It's just so wonderful. It wonderful and special that something like that can be like kind of resurrected and not trashed.
Yeah.
And be given a brand new life,
Yeah, I mean, like, I will say season 1 would be kind of my pick for just like, patient, delicate, nailed it writing, even if, it wasn't afraid to, let its hair down and have some corny, nostalgic fun too. I mean, like a great mix of all that. the story of the last 3 seasons I felt like have been like, a dose of face palm, like, oh, that is so corny. Oh, of course they have to fight about that right now. All like outstripped by the fact that it's just so darn compelling and nostalgic and well, and just in short, by the fact that the good stuff is really good.
Right.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they actually, this was a little bit surprising of what they did in Cobra Kai. They actually did a little bit of a nod to, I believe it was the second Karate Kid movie when Daniel and Miyagi go to Japan.
Yes.
And they actually meet, and they had the two actors, the one who played Kumiko and Chozen. They're there, and I was like, I'll admit, I squeaked a little bit. That was after the Karate Kid series, that was my favorite one. And then seeing
those were great.
And then seeing those two actors, I was like, wait a minute. And I saw, all I had to do was just see the actors just moving, which was just moving around the way Kumiko did. Then all I had to do was just see her move. I was like, wait a minute, that's Kumiko! Oh my God!
That was pretty great. Although that was season 3.
I actually, when I was binging this with my mom, and my mom actually, I'm so proud of her. She is now, in her older years, she has now discovered the magic of Netflix binging. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah,
She's been binging so many shows. She could tell anybody around them more than I have. You know, she's out of the gate running. But she binged Cobra Kai, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I'll admit, I squeaked a little bit when I saw Kumiko, and she's like, what?
But season 4 though is the one that drew from Karate Kid 3, bringing back Terry Silver. Now the real pain begins, Danny boy.
Oh, Danny boy. Sorry, Chumbawamba thing.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, but I mean, you've seen season 4 though too?
Yeah, amazing.
Boy.
Fight between the fight where and the fights are really just so well coordinated and such. I love the fight in the high school where the kid, like, at the end, unfortunately, he breaks his back. I watched it, like, I loved just the choreography of it. I watched it, like, multiple times.
Yeah.
I was like, I just could not get enough of the movements. I was like, oh my God, this is fun.
I think my favorite, like, my personal best might be, Robbie and his prison brawl, like, against a guy who's not skilled per se, but, like, has presumably had so many street fights, he does in a sense know what he's doing. So like, just like, brutal versus skill, huge, strong and brutal versus skilled, precise, and all that. Like that scene where he has Robbie in the headlock and his plan is to charge him full force at the wall and slam his head off it, and instead Robbie like runs up the wall and flips behind him, and it just like that was that fight was exhilarating.
Yeah.
Gosh, the choreography is so good. It's so good in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like just hearing me say what I just said probably sounds really corny, but it looks great.
It's so good. It's so fun. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. Cobra Kai is so good, and it's so wonderful seeing an old. Well, it's not old. Well, I guess old compared to some of you millennials out there. Could be old. But just seeing something from the 80s and just being treated with such, it seems to be treated with such respect and quality, and it's great. And at the same time, this is the stuff you want. If you want to revive something from a previous time, this is what you do with it. You treat it with respect, and if you want to update it, you update it with both audiences in mind, because it is something for both, like, of the older and now generation to enjoy. That's really what you want to do with a property like that, if you want to resurrect it in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. Like the early seasons, the whole like Johnny's hammer to the face of like, no, I'm not gonna get more eloquent about what I say. People don't always say what like the PC trashing was the dominant note, but as it goes on, the whole like, okay, times have to change and evolve is like gradually becoming the dominant note. Like Daniel's more like the moral Daniel learned at the end of this season was the flashback to Mr. Miyagi's tree grow and find own way, and someday you too, Daniel-san, will find own way.
There you go.
Own way to do things.
Go.
And a lot of new likable characters too.
Yeah, and an old
like
one
never left.
who, actually, did you know that the guy who plays Terry Silver, who's supposed to be another Vietnam War veteran, is actually younger than the guy who plays Daniel?
What?
Yeah, I had the same reaction.
Yeah, he was in Karate Kid 3, yelling in Daniel's face, about these supposed life lessons. Now, wake up and smell the coffee, Mr. LaRusso. Last time you weren't fighting this. And, Ralph Macchio is 26 in that scene, and the Vietnam War veteran in his 40s is only 25.
How?
Yeah.
I guess Ralph Macchio really does just look that young.
How? What? Witchcraft! That's all I'm saying. Witchcraft!
Yeah, that guy's, I guess he's just a big guy who, as such, looks a little older than he is, but holy heck, did he jump back into the role, and with a heck of a vision. People were like, Terry Silver, he's got so much swagger, so much dominance, he's gonna come back and kill it. Other people are like, Terry Silver, he's so cheesy, he's so over the top, they're gonna refine him and make it so he's not smoking cigars and bubble baths anymore. And what do? They have him come back, refine, be like, holy heck, it feels like unreal just to say it out loud. I was harassing a teenager over a karate tournament. But I've had my therapy and I'm good now. And then instead, we're getting one too many spoonfuls of John Kreese, he falls apart and becomes old Terry Silver again. Gradually falls back into that. That was genius.
Man.
The part where he's beating up Spoiler because of Spoiler is actually kind of a terrifying scene.
Mm.
Oh man.
But I guess it's time to move on to stuff we've been up to. Who wants to go first?
All right.
Let's see. We all know that the second day has been read.
I do have a pretty relevant media-related thing, though, but I have my spiel on Phantom, so I'm willing to let somebody else go first here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait 1 second. I just want to say I forgot. There's one more news story. I forgot. It's sort of a minor story. Disney Pixar's Red is not going to be in theaters.
Oh,
I heard that.
Too.
It's been moved over to only Disney Plus. Okay.
I really hope that's because producers didn't see it and be like, this is not as good as we were hoping it was going to be, because that looked like a good movie. That looked like it was onto something
Well, we
with
did
that
the same
trailer.
thing with Soul, and I hear Soul is good.
Dastardly cute. I saw the previews. I was like, oh my god, this is so cute.
I mean,
Soul was never in theaters?
Yeah, Soul was never in theaters.
Soul's
my second favorite Pixar movie. Jeez.
It's my favorite, I think.
Because it was
amazing.
in the end of 2020 on the Christmas.
Yeah, the last Pixar movie in theaters was that fantasy one with the trolls.
Onward.
Oh, Trolls World Tour.
No, Onward. Pixar didn't make Trolls.
That was
DreamWorks. You said Trolls, and I thought the Trolls movie. It was the Onward.
That's DreamWorks.
And by contrast, Onward was good. Onward was not great. So I guess maybe we shouldn't read too much into that.
The one thing about Onward is I never thought I would see a fantasy feature where you trash unicorns, and I'm like. Well, considering, and I'm thinking, I'm standing here. It's like everybody knows my Rarity is my spirit animal, right? And she's a unicorn, and I'm thinking, seeing and you see them they treat unicorns like the raccoons in that world, and I'm like, what? And I was like, you're insulting my spirit animal, and I'm not upset about this. Am I maturing as a human being? The whole premise of Onward, the whole premise of it was really great, but it was just something he trashed on unicorns. And as soon as I was done, I had to look at my Rarity plushie, and I'm like, it was judging me. And I was like, don't worry, I was like, don't worry, Rarity. I don't believe what Onward says. I promise. Don't judge me.
All right, but I guess going back to what we've been up to, who wants to go first?
Oh, I will, because I have something really quick.
Alrighty then.
I am suffering a cold. Update. I am suffering a cold. Update over. Moving on.
Okay.
Okay. So right now for me, I guess for me, This weekend I've been doing like an online card game tournament by the name of the Bushy Road Rumble Online, which was like this big event in which I decided to participate in a competition full of over 400 people across the world trying to compete in this one event to try to get to the top 16 because of how many people were there.
Yeah.
It was quite the sad competition in which basically I had to face off in 9 rounds, and basically each round basically took up to basically like an hour because of how many times games would get into overtime so easily, and each time the round would end, it would have a 10-minute break.
Yes.
For me, I basically entered this tournament with like my only deck that I could play in this format, which was the standard format for the card game. So like the newest form of the card game for Cardfight Vanguard that I play, which was Magnolia, aka a rush deck having multiple creatures attack even from like the back row of like my field. Imagine like a game of like Yu-Gi-Oh! In which like, oh hey, guess what? I can put monsters into like my my spell and trap card zones and just simply attack from there as well. That's what my deck does.
So they made you enter with not the deck you spent your real money on.
This is the deck I spent real money on.
No, I mean like your gold medal winner, your the one you designed to be your best one, or is it that?
It wasn't my only one, because I basically main Magnolia because it's my aesthetic. It's my preferred attack style because it's a multi-attacking deck. I do well for like aggression and rush decks like that. I'm not good for like the whole control play style really, even though in other card games I did try to get into control play styles, like say Magic, when a certain set came in by the name of Takir. And I was thinking, ooh, maybe Jeskai because it had some blue in it. But it turned out Jeskai was more of an aggro deck instead. So that was just I try to expand my horizons, but everything just keeps dragging me back.
Sure. Dangity dang. Hi.
Boy.
So it sounds like, okay, from what he was saying earlier, I take it then he went 2-7, which tough break. Yeah, he even explained, like he brought that up when we went and visited him, and he was saying that his deck wasn't strong in like the comparatively and what'd you say, the cards you bought for it, but
basically
your ability to play with it was solid.
Yeah, the thing, basically I was playing with a tier 2 deck, which means it's not really like the top competitive deck, which usually has a lot of bonuses in the meta, but it's very much still viable. For me, I'm very much a master with it because of the amount of time I spend with it, how much I love the deck, so it would be very easy for me to pilot it in the game. And the way the tournament went was basically first round, I was facing off against a mirror match against the same deck, and I lost to it just barely.
That's rough.
Yeah. Imagine like seeing like your opponent playing the exact same deck as you and just barely beating you out because he drew the key piece at the final turn.
Ouch.
Then, round 2.
Luck is the scale tipper.
Then round 2 was basically the whole thing about, oh hey, my opponent was going to play like like a legacy deck that they remade for the new format. Like basically sort of like it's like the Blue Eyes, like White Dragon equivalent. No. Would be more the Red Eyes, Black Dragon equivalent for Vanguard, with the name of Phantom Blaster Dragon. But before we even got into it, there was a big issue about connection with the player since we were playing it like remotely from like our computers, in which for over 20 minutes the guy couldn't even show me his video camera screen. And when a judge finally came in, I told him the thing, and I told him that it's still glitching. I'm willing to take the win right now. If he and the guy and the judge agreed with me because of it was still glitching even when he came in. So I basically got a free win there. Now here comes the third round. Now things were getting tense. I was 1-1 right now, and the top cut was basically if you got anywhere less than got more than 2 losses, then you're basically out of the running for top 16.
Okay.
I was going up against a cat girl deck by the name of Lorna Roll, in which it involved around a girl idol with cat ears, which basically sings a lot of spell cards onto the field and gets abilities depending on how many spell cards they have on their field. Mm-hmm. I'm using Yu-Gi-Oh terms because everyone here is not familiar with Vanguard terms. So, legitimately, this was a deck that, fortunately enough, I actually was able to play test against because of my good friend from Vanguard Zero, my team captain for my Vanguard Zero team, literally used the same deck. So I knew what sort of type of stuff that I had to adapt to. And in my case, it means I couldn't use perfect cards, cards that could be able to block attacks, nullifying it, like Mirror Force, basically, because the deck has a finishing move in which it negates Mirror Force abilities. So legitimately, it means that I had to basically discard those cards at the beginning of the turn, even though that's not usually done at all in the card game, because I knew for a fact that he was going to go for a finishing turn like that. And when he actually did go for it, attacking me with a 54,000 attacking Catgirl Vanguard, I literally just put in multiple triggers onto the field to guard that attack, and I was successful to block his final rush, and then I rushed him for game. Legitimately, at this moment, I was beginning to tear up and cry in joy over such a hard-fought win.
Why did they try?
Legitimately. I was just beside myself. I just beat one of the top tier decks with my deck.
Hey!
Yeah, it was legitimately one of the hardest things I did, but I proved under pressure I was able to do so.
Amazing.
But then the rest of the tournament kind of fell through because then the next matchup was up against a deck involving around creating multiple Shadow Army tokens, which I wasn't able to deal with their big hand size of defense. So I lost there. So I was 2-2. And then the last game I played with to decide whether or not I would continue or not was basically going up against the other top tier deck. The other top tier deck that is known as Gravidia, which is an Alien Queen deck, which involves around the Alien Queen having these spell cards called meteors, in which they're able to launch it into your field, destroying your cards, and also able to draw as many cards because of it. Yeah. And
it seems a little OP.
Yes. It's literally tier 1 right now. And I lost against it, but it was very close. And the competitor told me, he was a guy who play tested for a very popular Vanguard YouTuber who got into the top 16 of the tournament, and told me I was legitimately the scariest Magnolia player he's ever played against.
Wow.
That's off to you there. Was ruthless to him. So yeah. taking that loss with pride, I basically had to like withdraw from like my hopes up of like continuing on like playing the tournament for like a chance for the top 16 because I was already 2-3 at that point by round 5. But now you know legitimately how tough that entire tournament was. Like because like these matchups were very close, like in how I lost to them, and it was like thrilling. It was a free to enter tournament. It was a chance to meet with many different players from around the world. And I really got to show that I was no joke. Even if I was playing with a tier 2 deck, I could still be serious enough, even without like some lucky happenstance that like my playstyle was able to at least nearly dent them for like a loss.
Hey, it worked.
Well.
So yeah, that was like my big tournament thing, like over the weekend. And then for like media news, I got 3 new animes I like to talk about for the start of the year.
Cool.
Well, no, actually, it's 2 new animes, and then there's one anime that like I talked about before, from the children's franchises, that being Digimon Ghost Game.
Oh yeah.
Episode 13 happened. We got a trend changer for Digimon as a whole right now.
Really?
They decided to pull the Dark Digi-Evolution of the main character's Digimon early. And it's looking like the Dark Digi-Evolution might be the main antagonist right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Remember when Dark Digi-Evolutions for main characters usually meant a rampaging, like, monster meant on destroying, like, whatever's around them, or possibly the entire digital world?
No, I don't remember
like
that.
Skull Greymon?
Yes, like Skull Greymon, or in Tamers with Megidramon for Guilmon, or in Fevers for like dear old Shine Greymon Burst Dusk mode.
Well, yeah.
But in this one, when the main character Digimon Gamamon became Goose Gamamon, which Goose comes from the name Regulus, because all of his names relate to all constellations.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yes, like Betel Gamamon, Wizen Gamamon, and Uryu Gamamon.
Uyu?
U-R-Y-U.
Okay, it's not the... For a minute, I thought it was Uwu or something. Never mind.
Yeah.
It would have been hilarious if it were.
Yeah. Like, basically, like, the gimmick for, like, this season has been the fact that the main character and main character's Digimon actually has branch evolutions. So it's not just like, oh, become one champion form. No. We're actually showcasing the major difference of Digimon and Pokemon with, oh yeah, Digimon can become different things at the adult stage. And such. And when this evolution came onto the screen after an actual death of a Digimon for this season, which that's been a thing that's been absent for the entire season until now, which, yeah, realize that. Let's just say Goose Gamamon is completely different in the fact that he actually talks, is completely cognizant, and is very much wrathful and sadistic. Because like the Digimon of the week that they were fighting off against was legitimately a serial killer by the name of Dan Schaffruder, a.k.a. the Executioner in German. Which is his actual Digimon name was Sealstramon, as in Navy SEAL.
Wow.
Like a cyborg dragon Digimon. That is only able to like evolve into that if he's able to perform like in an assassination program in which he kills like 1,000 of his fellow rookie forms in order to get to this point. So yeah. How's that for morbidness?
Pretty morbid.
Oh yeah. And then when the Goose Gamamon has him on the ropes and asks him, so who put a hit out on all these Digimon? And then he confessed, no one did. I just did it because of like counting up my body count. And that's when it was like, oh my god. He was such it's like someone just mindlessly killing just for the sake of like increasing their numbers. It's like he's even more demented than just an assassin doing it under the orders of someone else.
Pretty demented.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. And then Q's Gamamon just was like, oh hey hero, do you hear that now? Like as if to like show that like not all Digimon are gonna be able to be reformed, because that's been the format of the show so far, in which they've been able to talk down the Digimon in order for them to not do the troublesome acts again, or beat them down to a pulp so that like they run away like afraid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But since like clearly this is not going to work for him, Q's Gamamon decides to do the endeavor since Hero can't do it, and kills him with his tail.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa,
Piercing
dark.
his head.
Mm-hmm.
Dark.
Okay, well, it sounds like you're already in spoiler territory there, so.
Oh yeah, I know it's spoilers, but I'm just saying, like, people have been making complaints about Ghost Game, about like, oh, it doesn't have a plot, there's not actually something interesting going on. This episode is like, here's the plot. Possibly dealing with like an antagonist that's within the main character's Digimon.
Mm-hmm.
Is
The
that what people
darkness
complaining
within.
about?
No. Before that was like how it was very non-violent, like after some conflicts, which was only for like a limited amount of time, like the episode would resolve like sort of like unsatisfactory. This episode, everyone is just like 5 out of 5. Oh my god, this is like 100 out of 100. Like this is such an amazing twist.
Oh wow!
And like the mysteries of like this story just continue on, and just seeing like the tragedy of like this little kid Digimon who has no recollection of what he just did as like use Gamamon, like come back and then like realize like his friend who was killed is never coming back, like his first learning of death, and he begins bawling. And it's just like, oh my god.
Man.
It's a little baby dealing with this. That's how
dark.
Yeah. So if you want to get into Ghost Game, I think this is like legitimately like the last thing I'm gonna say about this show. This is like the point of the episode. Watch the entire season up to 13. If it doesn't hook you by then, you can easily drop it.
Okay. I'll put it on the list.
Ghost Game is just
like everything else.
Like everything else.
It's legitimately like the great coming of a Digimon season after Tamers aired. It's like finally something that can like compete with Tamers for like the darkest season.
That's impressive. Very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Very
and then afterwards, let's go into like one of the new animes for this season. Tribe 9.
Tribe 9.
Mm-hmm. You might not know about this franchise, but do you know about Kiyotaka, Kadaka, of Danganronpa fame?
See, I've not watched Danganronpa. Is it a video game or an anime or both?
There's an anime adaptation of the first game. It's a video game series that started in the 2010s, originally on the PSP, but then became a Vita exclusive thing for Danganronpa 2, and then finally became a part for like more of like the brand scale like multi-platform thing, like for like PS4 and Switch, like in these times now. But Danganronpa's creator Kodaka. His new project is like showing like as like an anime first before like the mobile game that he's been working on, and it's literally an extreme version of baseball, anime style, with his character designer, and with him writing a story that's going to be twice as long as a Danganronpa story.
Oh wow!
Yeah. We're talking about something that's going to be amazing and glorious and insanely wacky. Because Kodaka has a knack for writing insane, out-of-the-wall characters that you might not like for some of them, but you can definitely tell that they're distinct, familiar, and recognizable.
Oh.
Yeah. It's great. Like the first episode aired, and it's pretty much like a basic like a beginning story about like an unconfident kid avoiding like hits from gangsters like trying to like rob him of his money.
Right.
Like and him being like unsure of himself until the top like a team comes in to like basically like assist him out of that pickle, and when they realize like his unique gift of like being able to like have like incredible agility, they want him like on their team for like extreme baseball, which that's the name of the actual sport. Extreme baseball, in which the entire city of Neo Tokyo becomes a baseball diamond, and they use super powered versions of baseball bats, baseball mitts, and even like using like mechanized mechs for like increased pitching speed.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's cyberpunk as heck, and it's amazing.
That sounds amazing.
Sounds amazing, yeah.
It sounds like everything anime is supposed to be.
Yes, it is. So if you want to check out something interesting that's technically a part of the sports anime genre, or something recommended from the creator of a very successful video game franchise that still has influence to this day on the internet, check out 2Q Games' Tribe 9.
Okay, will do.
And then lastly but not least, the big one. The Game of Thrones, you might even say.
Ooh?
The Attack on Titan final season part deuce.
I've seen the previews.
Oh.
Previews. Oh my God! They're gonna do the rumbling. They're gonna do the rumbling. They're gonna do the rumbling. Oh my God! They're going to do the rumbling.
Oh, yes.
I can't wait.
And they finally did it. They finally did an opening that overshot the original anime's first opening. The final opening is that good.
Oh my goodness.
It's heavy metal.
There you go. That's the only way. That's the only way to do it. You open with metal. You gotta close with metal.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have the rumbling when you do it. Never have I been so excited of the end of the world.
It's gonna be glorious indeed. Like the anime just does not stop with like hype moments at the very beginning of like the finale season.
Everything looks so just amazing. Everything looks just amazing with the just everything. It's like one big giant animation smorgasbord buffet.
Mm-hmm. It's quite literally like one of those shows that's like, yeah, you might have wished that it might have caught on the world on fire like it did back in 2013, but in the end, this might be one of the long-standing best animes of the entire like genre.
I agree. I definitely agree. I have like no qualms of like, you know, everything. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, the creator knows exactly what he's doing, and I'm like, I have no complaints. I have no complaints. Do what you will, you know.
The only flaw is honestly just the slow down pacing in the back half of season 1. That's the only thing. That was the only thing. Might have detracted some people watching it, and then the big 4-year wait for season 2.
That is true. I feel like that. Now I feel like I think you had to, because now, I mean, considering what we have now, I can understand why. I can understand why. I mean, if you have to take whatever time you have to make sure you deliver, and you not only had to deliver, you had to deliver amazing with a story like that Titan is. It's not enough to just deliver. You have to deliver. I mean, caps, all caps lock.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
So, anyone else want to talk about the big anime? The big almost seinen. I mean, literally, it's a seinen, but it started out as a shonen. That's really the thing about this anime.
Nice.
I got nothing here.
No, I haven't watched it, sadly. And a lot of horror things.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it would be considered horror, so it wouldn't be up to your cup of tea that day.
Yeah.
Especially the first season.
Yeah, first season.
The first season, when I was first being introduced to Titans, I almost had to quit on it because it literally gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
I could not, I swear. Sometimes I will still see the smiling Titan in my nightmares. I will still see the smiling Titan in my nightmares.
Smiling Titan never goes away.
Yeah.
She never goes away. She never goes away. Not even the sight of the Royce, but of the wait. What's that really, really, really ugly Titan? I mean, they all ugly, but I'm like, what's that really, really ugly, deformed one? The one that
Are we talking about Turkey Titan in season 3?
He's not the one that runs like. No, it's not the one that runs like just so silly. It's not the silly running one. It's. Oh no! It's the really ugly deformed one. It's the like really big deformed one. I think it was the one that one of the royal family like tried to. No. It was the one that this one guy, the royal family tried to like drink the serum, and it gets all wrong. So his Titan form is also like just ugly.
Oh, the face, like that faceless
that
Titan.
Is the Titan. No, that is the Turkey Titan. That's literally what
Turkey Titan.
That's what people name the false king Titan. Yeah, that's the Turkey Titan.
Okay. I thought they were talking about the one that actually like runs like really, really hilarious.
No. That's just a normal abnormal. That's just an abnormal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just a normal abnormal.
Just an abnormal Titan.
That's the new Pokemon type, abnormal.
All right. Does anyone else want to?
It was because of that Titan. I'm like, okay, I'm a little less afraid of Titans now. A little.
All right. Does anyone else have any updates? They want to? Any updates?
Okay. Well, one thing we did at New York that warrants sharing. We went to the Paley Media Center where they have in their archives like all decades of pretty much everything that's ever been on television. Ooh. And a lot of movies too. And yeah, there are several unaired things that you can't see anywhere else in the world. And wish I'd had more time there, but yeah, the only thing I'd gotten to see was the unaired episode of the shortest-lived, fastest-canceled TV show of all time. It was canceled halfway through its first episode.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, because I like what I had before. Because yeah, the audience that was used to its wholesome programming there was taken aback. They flooded the studio with complaint calls about this new show, Turn On, that cut between sketches so fast it makes today's rapid-fire shows look a little slow, and was a go-for-broke entertainment type of show. Jokes about sex, race, visual gags, punchlines, just anything goes just about by 60s standards, but yeah. So I had to see it, of course.
What is this show called?
Turn On.
Just Turn On?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can probably see like one sketch of it on YouTube right now because a news station talked about it once and got a clip to show people, so you can see that on YouTube. Otherwise, there was an episode that was canceled halfway through its run and an unaired episode, and I saw the unaired one, And it was something. It was like not only rapid fire, but like I think they were aware of the fact that and this is all in front of a white background, like the premise, quote unquote, is that a computer wrote this show, so it's just throwing sketches at you at 100 miles an hour. But yeah, I think they knew that if they just did sketch after sketch after sketch, your attention would start to wane. So instead they did like point breaks. They, just sketches would end, and I swear they were coming at you so fast, like they almost bled into each other. I wasn't sure when some of them were done, and like if I wasn't sure right away what the joke was, too late, they're on to the next one. But there were also, like I said, point breaks, just like a sketch ends and there's, as the last word is spoken, then there's a shot of a bullet hitting a light bulb, or someone dancing, or a puppet, or, that launches into an animation bit. So, yeah, just purely for the fact that, like, my attention span almost couldn't take it anymore, my attention nodded to the side a couple of times because it really is kind of sensory overload.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have a feeling also didn't help its case was that it was progressive as heck. There were several jokes, like this black actor talking to this white one. The black guy's like, what is with people getting mad about, the thought of me dating a white woman? The white guy pats him on the shoulder, says, well, you're just going to have to accept that the world might not be ready for that with someone of your race. And then the white guy turns around and walks away with a black woman. Yeah, that's like a double slap. That's like, okay, yeah, white guy patriarchy, you're full of crap, and also racist. Yeah. Nevishes, you're full of crap.
No wonder it got canceled.
Oh yeah, this is 1969. People watching whatever wholesome cowboy or whatever show it was that this had taken the place of were not happy. In fact, there was even a sketch in there, I think, making fun of, the South, saying like, well, you have to understand, we've been dealing with the black man for, eons. We know how he thinks. And then the same black actor comes by and says, hey man, what's up? And he waves back at him and then says, what did he mean by that?
Of course.
Yeah. And some of them would probably be seen nowadays as very problematic, but,
probably.
Yeah, they had one actor his role was, I guess he was trying to look as sleazy as possible, like his hair greased back and a mustache and a tweed suit, and one of the sketches was him in a wedding dress giving women advice.
There's some sort of insult. Oh, I'm already detecting the insults here somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess it could always be a double reverse, like making fun of sleazoids like he was playing, instead of where people would probably take this upon hearing it. But yeah, he gets a letter from a lady saying that, 3 of her friends, she lives in New York, 3 of her friends have been assaulted. Nothing's happened to her yet, but she's very worried. What should she do? And he says, well, don't worry. Don't get discouraged. I'm sure it'll be your turn soon enough. In fact, why don't you wear something provocative and stand in a seedy neighborhood and sing something?
No!
And he's saying this like he actually thinks he's helpful. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, that's like, holy yikes.
Wow. Now that you said it, I'm like, this just sounds like ahead of its time, honestly.
Very much so. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, I did get several laughs out of this show. Like, some of them were, some of it was head tilting. I mean, some of them, if I'd, had enough time to digest it, might have made me roll my eyes harder, but I honestly think if they released it to the general public now, it would become a cult show.
You may be right. You may be right. For a minute, I thought the minute you were talking about all the sketches, I'm like, what is this, SNL? I'm like, wait, maybe not. But then I'm thinking, like this just sounds like it's SNL almost. But
in some ways, but I mean, like, most of the sketches were like one punchline long. It comes at you fast.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And they also had an archive of stuff they recommended. I later found out that I could have just typed in Unaired and I would have gotten everything there you could only see there and nowhere else in the world. But wish I'd known that sooner. But yeah, what did they recommend? Like the Bulls with Michael Jordan pulling out Game 6 of an NBA championship and one of like the wildest comebacks you're ever gonna see.
Right.
Yeah, Richard Pryor's comedy special where, John Belushi is the whip snapping guy on some kind of slave ship, but he has the worst punishment of all for Richard Pryor. He's gonna make him go to NBC and film his own comedy special. And everybody on the ship is horrified and they try to defend him, but John Belushi's like, back or no dessert. And that puts
smart, actually.
So yeah, Pele Media. And like, afterwards somebody, like the lady who told me about what I could have done to find the unaired sketches, she had a lot of interesting things to tell me about. Like what this Woody Allen thing where he's making fun of Richard Nixon in a pretty provocative way that came out while Richard Nixon was still the president.
Oh, wow.
Never aired. So,
I wonder why.
I kind of wish I could have saw that one. But yeah, we went back and forth for a little while about this kind of stuff. Like she, had all sorts of recommendations. The show that, I guess an SNL that didn't catch on. She said it was called Fridays, but assured me that it was also stacked with talent and had a lot of hilarious sketches, and it, just one of those things that, okay, there has to be a winner and a loser, and poor Fridays, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, so that was really cool. There was also this guy coming around who seems like he was a professional stick in the mud. He tried to stop me from going on into the archives because something only have so many computers running. Some manager somewhere said something, and then she stepped in and sent him downstairs to, I guess, get somebody to tell him, come on, what's wrong with you? That's fine.
Wow.
But and then like they were also
I wish I had known this, because like then I would have used the computer too, because they made it sound to me like, oh, it's just like clips you can watch on YouTube, but like finding out afterwards that it was actually like something that you could only see there, it made me a little like sad that they didn't say to me like, oh, this is what it is. Instead,
they made her misunderstand a little bit. But then what else? Like they just bought a bunch of somebody's sketches where the trick was he always had one or multiple copies of just this word hidden somewhere in the sketch. What word was it? Do you remember?
I remember. I haven't seen those.
No, you were looking for that word in the picture, hidden in the picture.
Jeez.
Whatever it was.
Nina.
Okay, well, both Day here and the other lady found a second copy of the word, but it was so cleverly woven in that they lost sight of it again, and they couldn't find it, and he came by, and he was like...
he was furious.
Yeah, they were like, well, I mean, we both found a second one, and he's like, well, we have some to get through, we're only taking so long, we're just write down that there's one. And they're like, well, we both saw it. And, like, eventually he rolled his eyes and came over and tried to find it himself. And, like, okay. Dude, you kind of lame and probably shouldn't be working at this place that advertises itself as willing to, have insightful media conversations with you. But, otherwise, very cool place.
Nice. Okay. Oh, I have one last question. Did you guys get to try New York-style pizza?
Yes.
Two pizza shops. We tried Patsy's Pizza, which I think was got like, was it brick oven? It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like the greasy crusts and the thick cheeses. Like not with this one. This was like, I mean, it wasn't New York style, but it was one of those like, okay, this is upscale pizza. And then we also did Little Italy, and I mean, not like upscale enough to taste good. It was not like,
Right.
wow, these don't taste at all like the ingredients I have on pizza.
I was thinking like upscale. Like you didn't find the one that's like $1,000, did you?
No.
I was getting ready to say. I was like, what?
We wouldn't do that.
It was It was upscale enough to be good pizza in a little different from what you probably usually have. But then we tried Little Italy, which is more the thick crust and bacon and sausage and cheese. And I mean, that probably tasted like something I've had before. But yeah, that was just good, familiar pizza.
Yeah,
nice.
I'll say that the Patsy's pizza, like it's rare for me to find a pizza where I really want to eat the crust. You just want to eat the crust.
Yeah.
Totally.
So yeah.
Totally. So there's just something about New York style pizza. Actually, what part you were in? Like Manhattan?
Yeah.
Manhattan, yeah.
Manhattan. You know, I'm probably thinking Brooklyn style pizza or something. I'm thinking Brooklyn, but it's all right.
So yeah. Next, I mean, I'll always have Yinzer pride, but I can see why. Yeah, the punchline of Eddie Murphy's Coming to America joke about so many places to visit was, so which one should we go to, New York or L.A.?
They're completely two different places and completely two different parts of the country.
Yeah, the joke being that they're the ones that you talk about and everything else is just filler.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Now the next thing on your agenda will be Chicago deep dish pizza.
Yes.
Yeah. Here, Pittsburgh actually just won second best pizza city in the country.
Ooh, congrats, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I mean, I forget what the first place was, like some Midwestern or something, but yeah, I think like the qualifications were not just how good it is, that it was also affordability, how many there are within reach, how many, like, I'm still surprised New York didn't win because there were pizza places everywhere. I mean, we could have gotten pizza anytime we wanted, but yeah,
that's shocking, you know.
Yeah, I'd have to look closer at the requirements, but if price is a factor, I can see why Pittsburgh gained an edge there.
Makes sense.
And they reported on it, that like Pittsburgh style in particular, and I can pretty much concur with this, thick crust and heavy cheese to sate that steel worker appetite.
Oh, after all, Steel City.
Here.
Makes perfect sense.
Not nearly as much as we were when we earned that name. Like, apparently Pittsburgh was unlivably dirty back in its peak as a steel city, but we're still up there with steel cities making steel.
Still there. Still up there. Oh, respect.
Yeah, now I think we've been actually gunning for, like, most livable city a couple of years. So, turn around.
We definitely got the football team, for sure.
Well, sort of. We just pulled off the most miraculous playoff berth ever. Like, the Steelers have dropped the ball in so many facepalm ways this season, and
I've had to hear about it, and I've had to hear about from my dad and my boyfriend from always. I'm like, my dad is a diehard Steelers fan. He's a ride or die Steelers fan, and my boyfriend is a Bengals fan. So yeah,
jeez.
But yet they surprisingly get along very well. When I first brought him to meet him, I first realized, I was like, oh no, wait a minute, Dad's a Steelers fan and Brandon's a Bengals fan. Am I gonna need an Army helmet?
If I can get along with my friend who's a Patriots fan who was at my wedding, anything is possible.
And actually, the crazy thing is like, wait a minute, you forget what kind of man your dad is. He's actually really cool. He's actually really cool about this, and so is Brandon. So like, hey, you have nothing to worry about. And then sure enough, when they met each other and they talked, like, they were able to talk like just amicably, and especially about stats and everything about other players. That's what really kept it going and everything. It didn't go into like, mine's better than yours. Blah, blah, blah. It didn't get into childish territory like that. So thank goodness for that.
Yeah. No, the Steelers dropped the ball so much, and then what was it? Yeah, people would have given up for them if not for the fact that they would inexplicably beat one of the best teams right after sucking So, yeah, it was just a crazy up and down season. Probably the one where Ben Roethlisberger, who probably a jag-off in real life, but yeah, that's another story.
Yep. Every time they play, I always think of what my dad's doing, and I'm like, or I'll get an update from Brandon, and I'm like, oh, the Steelers played today, or they lost today, or they won today. I'm like, whatever happens, I'm like, well, let's see, Dad's probably happy, or he probably was upset for 5 minutes and then turned off the TV.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried I'm doing to poor Daylover here sometimes. I've become pretty disillusioned with the whole, especially the old-timey Yinzers talking like it's a sin to be from another city and how they're all awful people over there and stuff. I don't know. As I get older, I'm like, okay, not only do all the comics about attaching self-worth to a football team, not only are they kind of true, I think that the world has... Well, no, that sounds really pretentious. But no, all the same, I think that we are a very petty race that is wrapped up in the notion of petty victories that don't actually prove anything, and I kind of think that's what the world's been fighting about on a grand scale for the last 4 years. But that aside, I could not help consider the football thing kind of juicy, especially since, okay, for the Steelers to make the playoffs, they had to win Ben Roethlisberger's last regular season game against their arch rival, the Baltimore Ravens, and they also needed the Chargers and the Raiders not to tie each other, because then both of them would have gone to the playoffs and left us out, so ties don't happen often. And then we needed the worst team in the league, the Jacksonville Jaguars, to beat a decent team, the Cincinnati Colts, or else the Colts were going to the playoffs.
You mean the Indianapolis Colts?
Yep. The Jaguars kicked the Colts' butts.
They did. Yes, they did.
Steelers, battled out a heck of a close game with the Ravens, but in overtime, we managed to stop them and then, come back and kick the field goal off of some nice Ben Roethlisberger and Najee Harris plays. And weirdly, the Chargers-Raiders tie was the one that came the closest to happening.
I missed that one because I passed out on the couch.
Yeah, they tied each other in, the regular... What do you call that? It was a tie at the end of the scheduled time, and they went to overtime, and they both tied each other on the first drive, so over half the time is gone, and somebody's got to score and not be answered, or else it actually is a tie. And the Raiders, who I guess had just been playing this crazy game and have been getting beaten down all season, just kept gunning for it and managed to scratch out a field goal win. I don't know.
All right, but I guess to move on to, what are some things you're looking forward to this year in terms of media and
Turning
entertainment
red.
and all that?
What? Oh, excuse me.
Well, I am looking forward to Turning Red, but I think we already talked about that. I'm hoping for it.
Yeah, with me, it's Squid Games.
Yeah, hoping Squid Games gets a season 2 going.
Oh, really?
It already has.
Don't drop the cookie!
Anyhow, what about DreamWorks' contribution to this year?
What is it?
Oh, you're talking about bad guys?
The bad guys, yes.
What you're talking about?
Imagine sort of like a movie by DreamWorks, which is animated very similarly to Spider-Verse, involving around a heist movie, involving around the most dangerous animals alive, working together as part of an Ocean's 11 team of furries, including Mr. Wolf, Mr. Shark, Mr. Piranha, Mrs. Tarantula, and then Mr. Snake.
Sneaky Snake.
Sounds good.
Also, the one thing I have to say is, I dissected the trailers, there's, I made a prediction, this person's this person, and then I actually slowed down the trailer, and it's, very obvious, it's been spoiled. It's, one of those things, that they do in trailers now, where,
they assume they can misdirect you, and they don't always do it as well as they think. Dang.
Right into cannonball.
Oh, that sounds cool. I'm really looking forward to Spider-Verse 2, but I mean, like, I don't know. The thing about Spider-Verse 1 is, I mean, yeah, Channel Awesome kind of said that they did that meme where the guy is looking away from his girlfriend and at some other hot girl, and they're like, yeah, girlfriend is No Way Home and hot girl is Spider-Verse 2, but I'm like, see, the thing is, I was like psyched for No Way Home. Spider-Verse 2, like, the original is, well, I mean, not that there's no room for there to be more. There's plenty of room for there to be more, but like what it did was just such a self-contained story, nailed on such a cosmic scale. Like, I'm almost worried that Spider-Verse 2 can't live up to it. Like,
I mean, and also the fact that they're hinting at there's going to be a part 3 immediately afterwards.
No, not hinting. They confirmed. They straight up confirmed it's like part 1.
Yeah, it's part
2. But yeah, I agree with second. Like, that's sort of my thoughts going. Is like I'm excited, but like extremely nervous because it's like Spider-Verse was lightning in a bottle, like a very masterful art piece of an anime thing. And it's going to be hard to pick that up.
Yeah. I mean, if Spider-Verse was just the first part of a grander vision that this team went in having, I mean, that happens sometimes, and maybe it will be, like, heck, even if it's like, yeah, kind of like How to Train Your Dragon, where the first one was a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes that deserved it, and the second one was like a 92 or 3 that deserved it, I'll be happy, I think. But yeah, I think you gotta root for Spider-Verse, though. You gotta hope that this is like, yeah, lightning in a bottle twice, because this could kind of revolutionize how they do superhero movies. Like, if you, like, when I first saw Spider-Verse, the commercial for it, I'm like, oh, another one of those direct-to-DVD, like, superhero movies that gets to try something that they're not really willing to do in live action. They're like, nope, we're trying it for real now, and we're succeeding the hell out of it.
I mean, and not only just that, got a freaking Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, like, if Spider-Verse breaks that ceiling, and studios are willing to try this now, like animation that is used for pure just action and good action stories, more creative, more daring than what we've
totally
gotten so far. Like, I mean, break a ceiling just like Avengers did with the movies that work alongside one, like create a wider universe alongside one another. Give us these new creative leaps and bounds, please.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for newer Our Gretzko too.
Newer what?
Our Gretzko. You're not
yeah, that's true.
After season 4, I'm hoping that they pick back up from what season 4 did. It just feels like it wasn't the strongest of the seasons. Still prefer season 3 over it.
Train game.
Yes, but right now, I was kind of reminded when you mentioned about How to Train Your Dragon about, there was also like this dragon series by the name of The 9 Realms that came out recently on Hulu.
9 Realms?
Yeah, the dragon series in which it's like, modern day. With
okay.
Slowly rediscovering about dragons.
Okay, for a minute I thought you were talking about like the Game of Thrones spinoff with dragons.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Actually, weirdly enough, How to Train Your Dragon might have been kind of one of the closer ones we've come to breaking the what animation in the United States is for mold. But I mean, it still feels like the emphasis is on, for lack of a better word, it still felt kind of Pixar-ish, that just, let's explore relationships, and I mean, the fantasy and the sci-fi is there, but I mean, it's a particular type, like the focus is on the the emotional stuff, the very particular kind of emotional stuff, the growing up, the learning a life lesson, and fantastic movie. But yeah, how many times we've seen like movies like Spider-Verse, for the limited number of times we've even seen it at all, trying to veer off in these directions that are usually reserved for a different kind of movie. We've had, I don't know, Tron, we've had Don Bluth and his Titan AE, and weirdly, I think the most successful team in like, animation can also be for this kind of thing might be the South Park guys with their bigger, longer, and uncut, and their Team America World Police puppet movies. I think those were moderately successful, but they were almost seen as what would you call it, novelties, I guess. Like, I don't know, Spider-Verse, if it starts like, I mean, the first one, it did good money, but I mean, if it's, okay, no, this is the thing now, this is the thing to see, it's starting to do great money, that could smash some ceilings, I think.
Yeah. For everything that I'm looking forward to, it's some of the stuff that I'm looking forward to are probably may not be this year. They may even be beyond that. The only two on my radar that I'm looking forward to is, of course, Red, because oh my gosh, red pandas.
Yeah.
Someone will have to like put like a I don't know, put like a so they'll have to silence me somehow, because I know I'm gonna be like squeeing throughout the whole thing and be like, oh my god, look at the red panda. And someone's gonna have to, like, I don't know, do something with that. But definitely Red. Another thing is Bayonetta 3. The video game Bayonetta 3, and also looking forward to finally getting a Switch.
Oh,
hey.
I can soon visit you on your island.
Exactly. I'm tired of being the only freak in the group with no Switch.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask a while ago, but Day, didn't you get a Switch or?
Yeah, I have two.
All right, I thought I seen it on your Facebook post.
Are you kidding?
I seen it on your Facebook post a while ago, but I never got to ask.
Yeah.
I actually have a friend of mine actually who is I think she said she's going to like hold a Switch for me until I get the money for it, and then I just buy it from her.
Oh yeah, good idea.
So, I think so. I think I'll have to see, like, how long. I told her, like, you have no idea how long it may take, because I've got some other financial things to take care of, because trying to be a responsible adult, if that exists. But there's some financial things I got to take care of before I feel like I'm ready to get the Switch. But
you think so?
But yeah, another thing I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, 2022 will be the year that I finally take care of all my financial stuff and can get a Switch and all of the games, so I can be like the cool kids.
I wish that I could be like the cool kids, because all the cool kids, they have those Switches.
Yep.
That's pretty much the only reason.
Exactly, pretty much. But also the games that are coming out on it, like, of course, Breath of the Wild 2. I've still got to get past Twilight Princess first. I'm about near ready to chuck it out the window, because I am lost in the Lakeside Temple and it's driving me crazy. What is it about water and temples and Legend of Zelda that's like, okay, let's make this really freaking hard, so that way the player will rip their hair out.
There's one moment in games like that.
Guys.
Yeah.
I was looking up movies. Apparently, there's gonna be something called Lyle Crocodile.
The what?
An upcoming American live-action animated music comedy film based on a children's book.
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, but as soon as I see the picture, I think they're literally, it's gonna be like a big screen version of like a whatever of Aloe the Alligator Boy was for like Netflix. Like, look at this, look at this picture of like the book cover.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Oh wait, I remember reading that. Yeah. Like the one I read.
Oh, Lyle Crocodile.
Lyle is a nice crocodile, and that's pretty much the premise. He lives with a family, and the one I read, he has a secret enemy who writes him notes every day about how they hate him, and, then he starts being extra nice to try to win whoever it is over, but it turns out that's the problem because he's winning all over all of this girl's friends.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And she is not allowed to play with crocodiles.
Oh.
So one appeal to the parents, later everything is solved.
Is this like a children's book?
Yeah. And I was looking up movies and I was like, what's this? And it's like, oh, this could be interesting. Okay, this might be one of those live action movies that might work. It's a children's book that's not like that could work. I mean, it depends. I don't see any pictures of like the actual production, but I would be interested in watching this movie. But then there's also stuff over here like Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that I would actually watch.
Yeah,
I hope they
there's that one.
Like we have waited too long for Jim Carrey to be funny in movies that know how to use him.
Yeah, and this movie, they're literally pulling all the stops, making Jim Carrey actually look like Eggman this time.
Well, now they're having Knuckles. Now they're having Knuckles in this one.
Yeah, and Tails,
And
and I mean, okay, yeah, I really hope that like what we get is something just at least as good as the first one, plus a bigger budget that does everything the first one didn't get to do.
I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock that Idris Elba is playing Knuckles.
That sounds good.
Honestly,
I have no idea what to make of this, but okay.
Honestly, I think this will probably be better than part one, mostly because it seems from the trailer that they are embracing more of the sort of Sonic culture and ideas behind it, instead of like, because the first one is basically like sort of a redone version of like the Chipmunk. What's the one?
The
Chipmunk thing.
The Alvin and Chipmunks movie.
It's a road trip movie with James Marsden in it being invaded by another CG thing like the Chipmunks or the Smurfs or the such and such, the Easter Bunny, which actually was James Marsden. The one difference in that they learned their lesson in one, making James Marsden a badass in addition to making him funny, and two, actually giving him a really fun chemistry dynamic with the character in question.
You mean Evie? Like, I remember Hop.
But like that's why I think...
and 3 throwing in Jim Carrey to be the villain this time.
Yeah, but that's why I honestly think that this one will do better because, well, one, we're getting Jim Carrey as Robotnik sooner, or wait, is it Eggman?
It's going to be
Got my game.
They call him Eggman.
It basically feels like 2 and 3 combined for the plot.
But I think one, we're getting Eggman and all that sooner and more of the absurdity. 2, the budget and like in general the animation should be better because they're not like redoing everything in like 6 months. So in general, I think it will like be just a better produced film. And 3, I do feel it will have a more original story. So that's why I feel, I'm not saying it'll be a masterpiece, but I think it will be like an improvement over the original sort of thing.
I mean, I really hope you're right. My fear is that it's going to be a case of, the first one was just mediocres overachieving a little because they, managed to find something that they managed to make something that didn't expose their weaknesses too much.
Generally, I think it'll be a similar thing to Sing 1 and Sing 2, where they're going to be about the same quality, but like some people say one's slightly better sort of thing. I don't think it'll be a big drop off or anything like that.
Well, here's to that. I actually have a whole list here. Do we want to just real quick go through the big geek culture movies that folks like us love and
I mean, like that sounds
looking forward to it or not?
That sounds like a plan.
We could.
Okay. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, Jason Momoa.
If it comes out.
First one was solid fun. If I get wind that the second one is also solid fun, I will go see it. But yeah, same reaction. Wakanda Forever.
Oh, that's gonna be
Yes.
a must watch. That's gonna have to be a must watch.
Yeah,
Again, I
I'm
think
gonna have
that's
to
a
turn-
must watch if it comes out.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
the no T'Challa direction, like, I mean, I am rooting for this movie like crazy. I can only wonder what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah, like
I had to
absolutely,
wonder too.
absolutely. Especially since like most of the cast there, especially like the leading ladies there, it might be a much more women-driven film, considering the characters in that movie.
I'm telling you, if you decide to make Shuri
Good job.
the Black Panther,
Let's try. Let's try.
if you try to make Shuri the Black Panther, then you know what? You own me. You own me. If you make Shuri the Black Panther, you own me.
Here. I mean, there were tons of characters with potential to do stuff there, and I think the bulk of them were women, so yeah, bring it on.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
This is gonna be one of those cases of like, oh, Black Panther, one of the most revolutionary movies in Marvel's catalog for being like a Black empowerment movie.
Exactly, and also the
spice it up with women empowerment as well at the same time.
And the fact with Black Panther, like, it was so cool. Like, my mom and I saw it in theaters, and we loved it so much that there's it's on my Facebook somewhere that I have Mom and I are doing the Wakanda Forever salute in front of the poster, like the geeks. I'm slowly but surely turning Mom into a geek, but I absolutely have got her on the Black Panther train, and oh man, she loves it, and I'll be confident if Black Panther 2 comes out, we'll both be seeing it.
All right.
Here. Okay, Jurassic World Dominion.
Next.
Honestly, I think I would see that just because it is like another one that actually is like bringing back old characters from the 90s into the new one.
I mean, I liked the first Jurassic World. I was like, oh, whoa, this is a cool way to continue the franchise.
To be clear, I'm not saying it'll be a great film or a good film. I'm saying it'll be a good popcorn film. Like that's my thoughts on all the new Jurassic World things. Like, oh, this is entertaining, eating popcorn, and then that's.
Yeah. But yeah, Fallen Kingdom dropping the ball all over again. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I thought they figured out how to do this franchise after a couple of botched sequels. So I mean, I have like a vested interest in this being good. If I get wind, like, okay, no, it's just more Jurassic Park is chugging along purely on dinosaur visuals, I'll be like, okay, well, it was fun while it lasted.
That train left with me a long time ago. I was like, after the first, I think, 2 Jurassic Parks, I was like, okay, I'm done. I was like, okay, I'm done. Okay, the first one was like, oh my gosh, wow. And the second one, like, oh my god, wow. And then the third one, like,
shit.
I'm bored. I'm bored. We're done.
Yeah. All right. So what's next?
Morbius.
Okay, that could be something. Especially as for me.
Morbius?
I'll wait for.
Let me tell you. A Spider-Man villain, vampire, basically. In the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, he was a guy who took some of Peter Parker's like a genetic altered blood, basically used it in an experiment, and then it affected a vampire bat, which bit him and gave him like vampire bat abilities, turned his skin blue, made him into like a flying like a vampire creature.
Oh my gosh!
And let me just say this: like in the '90s Spider-Man cartoon, Morbius was a tragic figure of someone who was trying to like take as much resources, even though he was gonna cheat his way like up to like trying to get a grant. He became like a tragic figure because like he was losing the love of his life as a result of like these transgressions. Felicia Hardy, aka who would eventually become Black Cat. Yeah, like.
Do I want Marvel to pull out another epic, another fun round of this is Sony's project?
Yeah, this is Sony. Yeah, people behind.
Okay, well, I was going to say, do I want the MCU to pull out another? Wow, I didn't know you could make a fun story out of this character sort of thing. Yes, I have no vested interest in Morbius. Sony's track record is definitely a lot more hit and miss, so I don't know. You're gonna have to do something to win my attention over.
Like, yeah, my thoughts on Morbius is like it could be good, it could be bad. I'll wait and see like reviews and reactions, and then if it's in the good realm, I will see it probably.
All right.
I'm even a little less drawn to it than the Aquaman movie, like purely on whether it's good. But on the other hand, Thor: Love and Thunder.
I don't know. I mean, even though like the last Thor movie was really good with Ragnarok.
It was really good, huh?
Yeah, because
in general,
Ragnarok was literally Planet Hulk. Hulk for half of it. You know, it was just like that feel good movie.
It was a lot of fun.
In general, I'm marveled out with exceptions along the way. Like that's my thoughts on it. Like it's like yeah, I'll see Spider-Man and I'll see like if Wakanda's thing comes out or not. Like I feel we would have had more trailers and stuff if it was at this point. I could be wrong. But like
well, I mean,
there are exceptions, but in general, like I'm marveled out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I mean, the fact that let's face it, we've all been watching superhero movies forever, and we always will. The fact that they're under the Marvel banner for me is not in and of itself an I'm discouraged now. Like
right.
I have been into Marvel's rebuilding phase so far. They're going off and cracking open the psyches of smaller characters of Wanda, of Falcon, Sam Wilson himself, but been into the rebuilding phase so far. Now is that like whatever it's gonna build back to the next big whoever the next Thanos is gonna be and all that. I mean, couldn't tell you if it's gonna be anywhere as good, but I am a little interested in what Thor's up to. Like we left off as Big Lebowski Thor, and he's traveling around with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and now Natalie Portman is set to at least temporarily become the star, if not permanently. Like, well, on one hand, when Jane Foster became Thor in the comics, I just remember because that was at the height of the anti-SJW wave, which, as far as I'm concerned, like this is coming from a guy who was an anti-SJW before it was cool, but yeah, that exposed itself and wore out its welcome pretty early on for me. But this was still right at its peak where people were passing around the panels of them laying on the middle fingers and the feminism extra thick. The absorbing man is whining out loud about how women ruin everything, a woman Thor, and how feminism is a 4-letter word, and it was a punchline is what it was. The MCU has taken comic storylines that were punchlines and given them teeth in the way they originally were meant to have before. It turned Civil War, one of the most mixed bag at best face plants, into one of the best MCU movies. I would totally love to see them give this one wings. Like,
all right, but we need to hurry through this.
Portman steal the movie in a way that works whether fanboys want it to or not. But
right.
Let's continue on. Let's continue on with.
Yeah, we need to really hurry. I need to be heading out soon.
Yes or no? Lightyear, Buzz Lightyear, the movie that Andy was watching in Toy Story. Curious, not.
No, I'm actually not interested. Sorry, not interested.
Yeah.
Blackout.
What's Blackout?
Blackout?
Black Adam.
Oh, Black.
I'll
give it a shot.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, I know it's Shazam's and antagonist rival, but
I'll give it a shot.
I mean, The Rock has been bragging about this role for like a decade, so I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, then I will definitely give it a shot then.
I would only watch it if I actually decide to watch Shazam. Then
The Flash.
Oh, wait, you haven't seen Shazam yet?
I have not seen Shazam.
Watch Shazam.
I haven't either. I haven't seen Shazam yet either. I haven't either.
Okay, The Flash.
Okay, that's gonna. Ooh.
Bringing back old Batman and stuff. Like, dude, yeah.
No.
This is your chance to have your own No Way Home. You messed up having your own Avengers. Hard, and I mean hard, and no, I don't mean hard, but you redeemed it. I mean hard. Don't mess up having your own No Way Home.
I mean, yeah, because The Flash is legitimately like the gateway to stuff like Flashpoint and stuff like that.
Truth.
If you can't knock it out of the park, especially when it came to like the CW's version of The Flash, which had a successful 2 seasons before things got really detracted.
Basically, like every CW show.
Yeah, but like, I'm just letting you know, The Flash, if they can succeed in comedic writing and mixing that up with a heartfelt story about someone overcoming the grief of a loved one loss, this could work. This could work. Please let it be like the Wally West of Justice League, the animated series.
Sure, why not?
Be like
Knives
that.
Out
Be
2.
like that character, or just make it, so that like it's a good Barry Allen origin story. Because yeah,
Knives Out 2.
No.
I'm not even.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I so want this to be a thing. This Clue meets Agatha Christie meets comedy meets really clever writing with just, all through Daniel Craig's detective. I so want him to be the next Sherlock Holmes and the next, kooky but awesome mystery genre. Please let this succeed.
This is like the genre of Clue, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Knives Out 1 is like that, a little of that, a little mystery on the Orient Express, and just, I mean, it was so much fun.
Sounds like fun.
And I mean, the connecting point is Daniel Craig's detective, who was used just the right amount in the first story, so.
So in a sense, he's got another landing spot after leaving James Bond.
It would appear so.
Oh yeah, and Scream, we saw so many commercials.
Scream! Yeah, that was, posters for that were everywhere in New York.
Billboards all over.
I just heard about this today. I was like,
no.
I just heard about this today, about Scream. I was like, oh.
Scream.
Why would you do that?
Scream.
2 good movies, and then Wes Craven, after the faceplant one, Wes Craven pulled together what he had left to make a nostalgic little final lap, his final movie, so sure, but why do we need another one now?
I don't know.
Because it never ends.
Maybe there's more meta stuff to comment on.
Because people like nostalgia.
Yes.
Actually, I will give the Scream 1 point if that's what they're meta commenting on, that movies are too nostalgic or something. Or that movies just are really nostalgic, including horror.
It could be fun.
I think they are definitely with horror.
It could be an interesting Scream if it was killing the old franchises.
Yeah. If like Scream 2 was making fun of sequels and this Scream is making fun of remakes or revivals.
Yeah.
But okay, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
Ooh, that's gonna have to be a must. That's gonna have to be a must watch, especially.
Like I already said, Sam Raimi going back to superheroes. I'm excited.
And my Dark Knight.
Please kill it. Please kill it. Your Dark Knight. Okay. Avatar 2.
No,
wait a minute.
No,
you mean that's a real thing?
No.
Yeah.
I will see it if it comes out, but I have absolutely no fear. I have no faith it will come out this year.
I don't.
That movie is like.
How is that? You mean that Avatar 2 is a real thing?
Yeah.
Yep. James Cameron waited this long because he didn't think technology had caught up with what he wanted to do. First Avatar was a fun popcorn movie that Fox News pulled its hair out screaming at. Nope, no points off for that. I want this Avatar to come out and make them pull their hair out screaming at it again. But, although, not by doing the exact same thing, I'm, like, banking on the fact that James Cameron still has that, boundary-pushing imagination, even if it's from a technology standpoint imagination. I'm hoping he still has that going for him.
Well, I'm wondering what kind of story can you tell with this one? What kind of
something
story
about
can you
uniting
tell?
the planet and the different tribes and stuff like that.
Oh god, it's pulling a Ray in The Last Dragon.
He has a lot more world building in mind for this world, so.
And now for the one that I thought was that was not a real thing.
The Batman.
The Batman.
Edward Cullen's Batman.
Now that's something I would actually watch. I want to see if this movie will
I want to watch this
or actually
succeed. I want to watch it too, but the trailers is just like, for some odd reason, like I'm getting a bad vibe. I hope it's better though. I hope it's better.
I mean, I've been waiting so long for somebody to nail the Riddler on the big screen. I want my swaggering, larger-than-life best Bond villain James Bond never fought, and instead they mash him together with Hush and make Zodiac Killer Riddler.
How about I say get the guy from Gotham. Get the Riddler from Gotham. He was really good. Get the Riddler from Gotham. He was really good.
Yeah, that's the one thing I will say is like I'm interested in seeing the Batman, but yeah, the trailers just make me feel like it's going to be like try hard to be dark film.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling too.
Yeah.
Sadly, because like all of the scenes or in the trailer that I saw with the Catwoman thing, I was just like, no, this is too much for me. At least it's not. I don't think I'm going to like that character very much.
It is interesting to see like Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go, you guys. I'm sorry, but I guess we'll stay for a little bit more longer.
Okay, a couple more to propose, just because we have to comment on Hocus Pocus 2.
No. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Disney.
No. That's a big fact.
Touching
it was fine when
Disney now.
You're touching an original movie.
It was perfect the way it was. Why couldn't you just leave it alone?
Movie that we know is bad on some level, but is just darn fun. Like, purely for seeing what Disney would try in their desperation to pull this back. I'm a little curious, but
I mean, what can you have the witches do? What can you have the witches do? That's really the thing. Because it's for sure not going to involve the.
They're supposed to be dead. They're supposed to be dead.
But the book opened its eye at the end. That was hinting at more.
I'm just
supposed to be dead. That was just fine as it was. Why you have to dredge it back up? Can't you just keep it as it is? Can't you just keep the hocus pocus as it is?
Okay, and finally I got a bigger face palm for you. Disney's Sneakerella.
What?
Sneakerella.
Sneakerella?
Sneakerella coming in 2022.
That's no.
Excuse me for a moment.
Yeah, hold on a minute. I have to laugh.
Yeah, I don't think he meant for that to be like a statement, but I think it's a good statement about that.
Yeah.
Sneakerella. Hey, Sneakerella, cut it up one time. Hey, Sneakerella, cut it up one time. Ooh, 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 ooh. No, that's Spinderella. Whoopsies. What?
It's gender flipped.
Wait, hold it. Did you say gender flip?
Yeah, that's what it's saying. And an aspirant Queens sneaker designer gains the confidence to pursue his dream of becoming a professional sneaker designer with his best friend, Sammy, and his fairy godfather.
Didn't they already do something like this with the Cinderella with Camila Cabello?
Yeah.
Didn't the storyline already been done?
This sounds like a train wreck.
This sounds like it's already been done. That it was already done by that one with Camila Cabello.
Oh yeah, you mean the one that came out this year?
Gorilla, what the heck? I mean, like, you're not gonna tell a gay man version of Cinderella, are you? Because that.
I don't know. Just the title Sneakerella does not bode well. That brings back the 90s phase of trying to sound cool in ways that probably came from 60-year-old men that didn't realize they made the whole thing sound really, really dorky.
All right. I'm going to have to go back to like what a nostalgia critic said years ago during a previous Disney remake of their live animated one. Okay. Yeah, there's already a good live action Cinderella. It's called Ever After. Just watch that.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much. Yep. Yes, Ever After is amazing. Ever After is fantastic. Oops.
Here.
All right. But to sort of wrap it up, I have my own things I'm looking forward to that's more game centric. It's still sort of up in the air, but like this sort of like going through games that we know yet, because like we've already brought up like Breath of the Wild 2, but that's still not even certain if that's coming out this year. Nintendo's got Nintendo. It's like with Metroid, that's Metroid Prime 4 is coming out sometime. Maybe not this gen, but sometime.
There's also Legends Arceus for Pokemon, which is going to be an interesting spin-off. Which,
I'm waiting to see how that goes.
I want to play that game.
But yeah, to put things like, some things I'm looking forward to that are probably going to hurt me because they're all sort of like large open world RPGs. And also, Carlos, remember I mentioned one thing I was buying that was sort of like also going to add to this problem. Like, the one sale game I was getting was Persona 5 Royal.
Oh,
it was like $25.
Oh my god! Playing Persona 5 Royal. I'm just letting you know. Just prepare yourself for some ingenious writing that improves on the base game.
Yes.
You're gonna love like the actual final antagonist. Yes. You're gonna like it.
The thing is, like I said,
I've gotten back into fan fiction thanks to Persona 5.
But
I need to read your stuff. Give me your stuff.
No, I won't. No, I won't. It's not. It's. No, I can't. It's. I can't pronounce. I have no words for it. But no, I don't think you'd want this kind of stuff.
Going off of what I was saying is like I'm sort of punishing myself, which I don't know, that might be the theme of Jen's fan fiction, but I'm gonna have there's a lot of like large open world RPGs that are going to be like 40+ hour games that are going to be really drainers of time coming out back to back, which is not going to be fun.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, there's going to be Elden Ring, which is a new Soulsborne game coming out, which has story elements written by George Martin, because he really won't do anything besides work on the next Game of Thrones. I mean, Fire and Ice book.
It's already he's already done. He doesn't need to do it anymore. He doesn't need to do it anymore. He can do something else.
He's not done though. There's 2 more books, or at least originally. Yeah, there's 2 more books. Yeah, his one book that basically. Yeah, you don't know. George Martin, his previous book that was supposed to be what was Battle of Winterfell and all that, that's been in development since pretty much Game of Thrones season 1.
It's not done yet.
And then there's another book after that.
Oh my god! He's not done.
But instead of working out this book, he's doing other side projects like Elden Ring, which I was sort of neutral on, because in general, like, I love Soulsborne game, as like Bloodborne being the second most played game I have last gen tells you. But I was sort of neutral on that until I started to see some more gameplay. And the thing that really got me this time around is like, this seems to be the Soulsborne game where they're really embracing magic as a key element. Not some like sort of gadgety thing, like everyone's like magic is like the thing of the game. It's like, okay, you got me intrigued now.
Okay.
And then going along right with that is like Horizon Zero Dawn. I mean, Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Like I'm sort of neutral, but like I know it's going to be good. Their thing. Like,
I've been wanting to get into Horizon Zero Dawn because I'm just so curious about the story.
Oh, the story is so good.
Ooh,
like I wasn't expecting. Because I wasn't expecting much because it's like from Killzone's developer, and it's like they make good games, but like their story was always bad. But like Forbidden West, I mean Horizon Zero Dawn, like had a really, really good story for an open world game.
It sounds good. I really would love to try it.
Well, the good thing is like you don't necessarily have to get a PS5 if you want to try Horizon. The first one is still on PS4, then this one's also going to be on PS4.
Crap, and I don't have a PS4 either. Ugh.
But I'm just saying, if you do get a secondhand PS4 or something like that, like instead of trying to jump to the PS5, there are options for you.
And here
I
am trying not to buy new console.
I was also going to say PC, but I know that's an even worse issue for you.
Considering I'm trying not to get into the PC because I already have a Mac. So
I know that issue is like. Yeah, I know a thing. Like I've gone Mac, I really don't want to go back to PC, even though PC gaming is pretty good. Like I know Steam. Like from my interaction with Steam is awesome.
I need to get back into Steam. That's for sure.
Actually, that's why I'm intrigued with the Steam Deck coming out because like that actually might, if it actually plays most games, I might eventually get it as like my PC gaming like option.
Right. I've got a couple of Steam games that I know I'd love, that I know I've been interested in. One, actually, it's a little bit of 6 degrees of separation. As you know, we started as an MLP podcast. And does anyone remember the Living Tombstone?
Yep.
Yes.
Good old Living Tombstone actually has 2 games that he's a part of. There's actually one called The Battle of the Bands, in which I believe he does music for, and then there's another one I believe he does music for too. And the premise of it, I don't remember what the name of it is. I think it's called Soundscape, but I could be wrong. I don't think that's it. But the premise of the game is like, wow, it's almost like Silent Hill. It's almost like Silent Hill, but even more psychological.
All right.
Derek, there's also there's also like a March they're re-releasing Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, but for the PS4, the Switch, and the PC on the 17th.
But let me see. Oh yeah, going back to long RPGs, I have way too much because I'm still working on my like Tales of Arise. Like I'm still like only 30 hours into that game, But I'm still working through that. That's why I say I'm sort of like got myself in like a hole with like all the games I'm interested in are like 40+ hour RPG things. Like, oh gosh, why?
Don't feel bad. I've already gotten 70. I've already clocked in about 72 hours on Twilight Princess, and I'm only on I think the first or second. I think this is the second temple I'm doing.
Yeah, and also like going on to like I'll eventually get around to rumor. I only finished up the games I've confirmed, but yeah, it gives me around to unconfirmed like hopes with Nintendo because Nintendo's a mystery. Mm-hmm. But for confirmed or semi-confirmed things, another thing that's a black hole in my time is like I eventually do want to play Cyberpunk 2077, but I'm waiting for that like next gen version to come out that will actually be playable and good.
Okay.
So, like,
that sounds like a real void. That's gonna be a void of time.
So yeah, like all these, all the games I want to play right now are like big open world RPGs. Like even the eventual God of War 2, the Ragnarok thing, like not an RPG, but that's probably going to be a 40-hour game, at least 30. So.
I need to find a way to. If I can find a way to get my hands on I may have to borrow a P4. I may have to borrow a P4 because I don't want to buy any more consoles after I get a Switch. But I may have to find a way to get a P4 or P5 because I really wanted to play God of War. I'll be right back. Guys. Gotta go on mute.
Okay. I think I just gotta go, but
yeah,
good hanging with you guys.
Yeah, we jumped into the game chat and
I'll get good at some games so I can jump back in later.
Yep.
Till then.
All right. But let me see. The other game thing and what you want to talk about is wait till Jenn comes back. But yeah, we don't really know what Nintendo is going to do this year. Besides like Squid. Let me see. Gosh, what's the one Squid game called? I'm trying to remember. Just tell me what it is. Splatoon. That's what I was thinking. Splatoon. It took way too long to.
Yeah.
Yes. The only things I think we have confirmed really from Nintendo are Splatoon 3, that Kirby game, and I think also that like basically the not sequel but sort of spiritual sequel continuation of Octopath Traveler, the like turn-based version of that, which ain't really a Nintendo game, but it's on the Switch and sort of highlight things, so it's sort of there. But yeah, we don't really know much besides those. But I still have hopes. Like I was going to bring this up, I really do hope Nintendo does, like they're just delayed because of the pandemic, do release a Zelda collection that includes Twilight Princess and like Wind Waker. I still really want that bundle so bad. Then there's also Breath of the Wild, but that may come out this year, that may not. My gut says it will just because Horizon came out this year, and I think Nintendo wants to spoil that game's glory again.
Ooh, sorry, guys.
The evils of Nintendo trying to spoil Horizon once more.
But I was just saying, like, the other thing, like, I'm looking forward to is we sort of don't know what Nintendo has because Nintendo, we don't know what they're releasing this year besides like Splatoon 3, right. The Triangle Strategy, like the sequel to Octopath Traveler. It's a spiritual sequel to Octopath Traveler, and then I think the new Kirby game. And that's really all we know about Nintendo so far, even though they probably will release more.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I hope, I was just bringing up, like, I really do hope they release Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on like a bundle for the Switch.
Right, that'd be great.
I've been looking forward to that for a while because after like that. But no, the only one they released right now was Skyward Sword, which was yay.
Okay, so it makes me wonder, like, should I wear Skyward Sword? And then hearing the yay, like, that sounds like a big fat no.
Yeah,
but after Twilight Princess, I may sincerely like skip Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword is like
go straight to Breath of the Wild.
Skyward Sword is like the redheaded stepchild of like the 3D Zelda games because it was so reliant on the basically the Wii controls. And they even in the Switch version, like you don't have to use motion controls for it, but it's sort of really what the game is designed around.
Right. Oh, actually, I've actually got to run too because I've got to make an important call. So I'm afraid I may have to say goodnight here too.
Well, yeah, I have to head out soon because I have work tomorrow, like my last week of the year. My last week of work, but I have to make it in time.
There you go.
Understandable.
But yep, I guess there's a lot of things to look forward to, and Nintendo, a lot of mysteries. But I guess I'll look forward to seeing you all next time, you and the audience. So see you all next time.
Bye-bye.